Good morning and welcome to News in Motion. I am Deborah Johnson and I am sitting in again today for Gail Dudley. Good morning and come on in the room. We've got a lot of news to go over today and another special guest. So please come on in the room and join the conversation. We're glad to have everyone here today. Come on in the room. Good morning. Good morning, Jeffrey Allen James. I've been looking forward to saying that whole name. It always sounds so distinguished. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to have you here today. Good morning, Elizabeth Towns. Good to see you this morning. We have a lot going on today. Man, things can change on a dime. News just kind of flows in, and we're going to have a good day today. Adrian, good morning. Good morning, Ronald Robinson. How you doing this morning? So good to see everybody joining us again today. It's a good day to be alive, and it's a good day for some news in motion. It's good to have you here. It has been a fun time. Hey, Marion Jackson. I am so glad to see you here today. Once again, we're having a talk today and a guest that's going to really show how you can flip the script on an illness. If there's somebody out there that you know that's dealing with any illness, but particularly a stroke, hit that share button. Let people know. Come on in the room. Hey, Regina Short. Hey, Dr. Fab. How are you? Good morning, Cheryl Owens. It's good to see you this morning. Deborah Sneed. Deborah spelled the correct way. I love it. No offense to any other Deborah, but Deborah, just like in the word. I love it. I absolutely love it. Come on in the room. It's so good to have you here today. Good morning, Rosanna Bivens. It's good to see you today. We have a lot going on, man, overnight. Hey, Kim Edmondson, how are you? Good to see you today. It flies, right? It's just one of those days where things are just moving right along, right? Oh my God. Yeah, Deborah, we share that name. I'm always telling people it's the correct Deborah. I have friends who have Deborah without the H, Deborah with the Debra. And I finally just told people it's the Deborah in the word. It's the Deborah in Judges. God got it right. That's the right way to spell it. So I get a lot of fun with that one. But it's good to see everyone. It's just a lot going on, but we have a great guest today. Please hit the share button. Just a great guest today who is sharing her story. Oh my gosh. I was just blown away about how you can take a real serious condition and turn it into a ministry. Good morning, Lori Wallace. It's good to see you today. Oh my gosh. It's just a lot going on today. And I'm so excited to have everybody coming in the room this morning. There's just a lot happening. Good morning, Alex Williams. It's good to see you. Well, we've got a lot going on. We want to make time for our guests and some time to talk about the news that's going on right now. So let's just get started. Well, I don't know if you've been on social media besides on this site, but my goodness, things were blowing up yesterday over Walmart's attempt to commemorate Juneteenth. As we all know, last year became the first year that we've had Juneteenth as a national holiday. I was pretty excited about that. When I worked for the federal government, I kept track of my federal holidays. When I stopped working, I still celebrated them as if I was still working every day. So we had another one. It was something near and dear to us. And so Walmart steps in, and Newsweek reported that they're going to pull its Juneteenth ice cream off the shelf. You heard it right. Juneteenth ice cream. Following a backlash, a serious backlash on social media. Photos of the ice cream, a swirled red velvet and cheesecake flavor. Who doesn't like red vanilla, right? Red velvet and cheesecake. But it sparked a wave of criticism after they began circulating all kinds of stories about it on social media yesterday. Share and celebrate African-American culture, emancipation and enduring hope, the blurb for Walmart Juneteenth themed ice cream said. Juneteenth, as you all know, commemorates June 19th, 1865, the day Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, to bring the news of freedom to enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. And last year, the day was made a federal holiday. The critics called Walmart out, accusing the company of capitalizing Juneteenth to sell products and questioned what it was doing to support the Black community. A journalist also inquired why the word Juneteenth had been trademarked on the ice cream. Walmart has since apologized and said it will remove the product from the store shelves. What do you think about that? Juneteenth ice cream? I can just imagine it. Juneteenth ice cream on your Juneteenth tablecloth with your Juneteenth hat on. Are they going too far with all the commercialism of this holiday? Some social media users have urged customers to purchase Creamalicious, an ice cream that's Black owned, and it's on sale in Walmart right next to the Juneteenth, or where the Juneteenth ice cream used to be. That's right, Kim Edmondson. What the what? Juneteenth ice cream. Sometimes you just want to know where we're going with this. It's something we're going to keep an eye on. Don't think this is going to be the last product that's going to be commemorated this June. We have to keep our eye out on that one. In other news, Florida textbooks may no longer teach social justice, according to the new state guidance, part of Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' ongoing attack on the pluralistic democracy. The guidance, which was recently updated but is undated as of right now, states that social justice is now one of the topics that are prohibited in the state-approved textbooks for K-12 social studies classes. And according to Politico, which reported on the news criteria, textbook publishers have until June 10th, not long from now, to submit social study proposals. The DeSantis administration recently rejected math textbooks for including impermissible topics. So publishers are now scrambling, trying to figure out what they're going to do with these textbooks. Just put in the chat, what are you thinking about this? So now, social justice, as we know, generally refers to the movement for equality in American society and against unfair treatment and unequal opportunities. And it's often associated with movements against racism, sexism, and anti-LGBTQ rights. So just let us know in the chat, what are you thinking about that? How does that even look? Good morning, Hester Jackson. Good to have you here today. The reality of it is they're looking at now, and people are seeing this. Some people are seeing this as positive. Some people are seeing this as negative. What do you say? Is this, yes, Marian Jackson, isn't this a true form of censorship? Didn't we just teach history? Just history, and we figured it out, whether it was good or bad. Ron Robinson saying we're moving in the wrong direction. Ron, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do in terms of reporting history as history. Good or bad, it's our history, right? We can't change it. We just have to report it. It's an interesting topic, and I think we're going to hear a lot about that subject as days go on. On another news, and beware, this is a beware moment. The J.M. Smucker Company is recalling Jif peanut butter. So not all Jif peanut butter, but some products that are sold in the U.S. have been found to contain salmonella. So the recall products include natural, creamy, and crunchy peanut butter with lot codes 1274425 through 2140425. Consumers who have questions and would like to report any adverse reactions, if you're eating Jif peanut butter, you're feeling kind of weird, you're not really sure about the lot codes, you can visit www.jif.com/contact-us. to make sure. We know what happens. We see it all the time. Sometimes things slip through. You want to make sure we stay safe and make sure that, you're not eating something that's contaminated. Yes, indeed. Diana, you're talking about, or Dana, you're talking about our history bringing so much shame, and people want to hide it. Shame or not, our history is history. It's history. We can't rewrite it. It's just what it is. That's for sure, Kim. It's definitely the truth. Hey, if you're thinking about going to Disney and you want to take your family of 4, you might want to start saving now. You may need to go and take out a loan. They're saying now that the average cost for a family of 4 could run as high as $8,500 for a 5-day trip to Disney. I remember when I took my kids for the whole week and a Magic Kingdom pass was $43. How do we do that? How do you take a family now? And we know everything's going up. Gas is going up. Everywhere you look, prices are going up. We are definitely headed toward a situation where we've got to think about how we can entertain our children without having to break the bank. How are you going to entertain your children this summer? And maybe we're going to have to go back to just having the picnics in the park, hopscotch on the sidewalk. When we were little, we would pop a bag of popcorn, put it in an A&P bag, and sit outside and laugh and talk and tell jokes. Our vacation sometimes was just going to the Brecksville Park, and my mom would cook up all this food, and we get together and we do that. Yeah, Rosanna, it's tough, right? How do we do that? Only select folks are going to be able to take their kids to Disney. A fun fact: when I was 7 years old, I went on my first trip to California, and my mother so badly wanted to take me to Disney. But way back then, and this was in the 60s, between my mother and myself and my uncle and his 5 children, there was no way we were going to be able to really go to Disney. So my mother had my uncle take us by Disney, and she put me out in front, right in front of Mickey Mouse and ears all in flowers. I had on my cute little white sweater, and I'm smiling, and I see myself at Disney. And later on in life, I actually thought I had gone to Disney. My mother corrected me, and she said, "No, we went by Disney, baby. We took you to Knoxberry Farm down the street because we couldn't afford to get into Disney. We may have to take our kids by Disney, take a picture, and that's right, Kim, do a drive-by, because we may not be able to do what we like to do with that." Now, I just want to add something for today, and that's our fun fact for today. I don't know how many people that we have watching that have beards, but guess what? Who knew? Beards have a health benefit. They prevent pollen from entering the mouth so that the possibility of getting hay fever is decreased. Really? I guess that's not going to help us ladies, right? But maybe we're going to have to just put something around our mouth, maybe a mask. With the numbers going up again, we may need to do that. But who knew that was happening? Hey, Valerie just told us they're going to be playing free tennis with the National Junior Tennis League. Oh, no, I remember playing tennis with the National Junior Tennis League. In fact, I got my first racket and balls from that National Junior Tennis League. So that was a whole lot of fun. So I can just say this, that, if you're having problems with pollen this time of year, you might want to consider growing a beard. I don't know how that's going to work for us ladies. We may just have to put on a mask, but that'll keep us with the pollen. Now on to a special treat. Seriously, hit the share button. Today we have a guest. Yesterday we had a guest, James Thornton, who came on and told of his struggle to go from being on the floor for 20 hours with a stroke to being able to learn to talk again, to be able to learn to walk again. Well, today, our special guest has really flipped the script on having a hard time in life. Our special guest today started off with life with a stroke, a devastating stroke. In 2011, she had a devastating stroke. This is somebody who now, at that point, could not walk or see. So she was blinded by the stroke, and she had a family to feed. We want to introduce and bring into the studio our ambassador for Christ. She has a first and last name, but she said that's not important. the work that she does now is all about being an ambassador for Christ. She went from having a stroke to being able to turn that all around to a ministry. We want to bring into the studio our ambassador for Christ and hear her story. While she's coming in, I just want to remind you that in 2020, 1 in 6 deaths in the United States was due to a cardiovascular event, mostly due to stroke. So we want to make sure that we talk to our family members, that we know the signs and symptoms of a stroke. We have to act fast when something happens. When someone has a stroke, you literally have hours, just a couple of hours to turn that around, to get them to a hospital. If their face is feeling droopy, if they can't repeat things back to you, if they're having difficulty with speech, act fast. If you're not sure, call 911. It's better safe than sorry. You have about a 3-hour window for them to intervene so that you can do what you need to do. But right now, I want to just say good morning to the ambassador for Christ. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's so good to have you here. I know a bit of your story, and I've just been amazing watching what's happened with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got yourself from where you first started off to where you are now?
Yes, ma'am. Um, I was born and raised in Saginaw, Michigan, Buena Vista High School. Hey, well, fast forward 2011, I had a stroke. But prior to that, I was diagnosed with the illness where they said it would eventually affect my nervous system. So when I had my stroke, my speech had went out. I thought it was from the diagnosis that they had said that eventually my nervous system would start sitting down. So when my
Mm.
speech went out, I didn't go to the hospital. I said, well, it's a result of the condition that they said I had. I didn't go to the hospital until 8 days later.
Mm.
When I went to the hospital, I walked into emergency. They said, well, how long has your speech been out? I said 8 days. Took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 279 over 179. Um,
Jeez.
they didn't, when you go into the hospital, you fill out paperwork. I bypassed that. They took me straight to the trauma unit.
Mm.
Called back the brain specialist, and he came in. He said, "Oh, she had a stroke." My speech was so horrible. No one could understand me when I would talk. My veins would stick out of my neck trying to talk. So as time went on, my vision started leaving rapidly.
Mm.
It was then I was misdiagnosed with the wrong illness. I was diagnosed with keratoconus. Keratoconus is an illness where your corneas reshape on their own, so it affects your vision. So I had
Right.
to have both of them restored, which was my corneas. It took a year for each one of them to heal. I had over 50 stitches in. So
Mm.
recently, my vision has deteriorated in the one eye. So I'm really focusing on one. I'm really operating with one eye now.
Mm. Mm. So here you were with this devastating illness, not being able to see, at one point, not being able to see hardly at all, and then not being able to walk because all of a sudden different things were happening to you. And you had a family to think about at that time. So, how were you taking care of your family?
Actually, I wasn't. I lost everything, and my son was away at college, and when he heard of my stroke, he came home. Mind you, he was on a football scholarship, so he came home, and one day he walked in my room. He turned on the Coupon Extreme show. I was like, I don't even like couponing. And so I said, "Did you come to my room to cut this on because you got tired of trying to understand what I was saying?" I started watching the show, and physical therapy wasn't working at all. Started watching the show, and I said, "This isn't real." Start collecting coupons as people would, as the news carrier would throw them out. I said, "The vehicle start getting those two coupons." I started getting the hang of it. My
Mhm.
speech started coming back. And to
Wow.
this day, when my speech locks up, I will go get a coupon. So it's connected to my brain.
Wow.
It's therapy. Physical therapy wasn't doing anything. As time progressed, I started walking, talking, and after the cornea transplants were doing that, I was catching the handicap bus. They
Yeah.
took me to the store, and individuals in there would read the coupons to me. I would grab the product to see if it was the right size. That's how I learned how to coupon. And as time went on, I started putting things together in bags and blessing families who were in need, stroke survivors, elderly, depression, PTSD, folks who couldn't get out of their bed to go purchase things for themselves. So I started giving them boxes and gift bags.
Mhm.
And it turned into a big ministry.
Oh my goodness. Well, I remember coming up to Saginaw because you said for your birthday, you wanted to bless men in a halfway house for Father's Day. Your birthday comes close to Father's Day, and you realize that often fathers get overlooked, but fathers in a halfway house who, formerly felons, having issues with life, struggling to just make it, and you wanted to encourage them. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for my birthday, well, every time my birthday come out, I take it kind of hard. I'm not going to get into that due to time. However, I prayed and asked God. I said, "Well, God, who can I bless? I want to be able to bless somebody." And He put in my spirit, "I want you to bless some men." And my response was, "Men? Why men?" Another show. Anyway, so I contacted the person at that time, which was Tori. She said, "You want to do what?" I said, "I want to bless men for my birthday. I want to bless the men who have fallen through the crack, been to prison, and made to feel like they're not worthy. They're just as worthy as somebody else. They just need a chance." And that's what I
Mhm.
wanted to do. So I couponed for the entire event. Every guy left with a gift bag, and everyone who helped me left with boxes of personal need items that were gathered just for me couponing. And then Deborah and her husband, who were the chefs, they did an amazing job.
Mm.
And once that was over, we took the food to the shelter so those men could at least have some food for the rest of the week. I know this like being hungry. I lived in the shelter before. I lived in a hotel being homeless and had to raise my children from having a mental breakdown. My stroke was caused from an emotional breakdown, which is caused from PTSD. So I've been through a lot of my life. And now I just want to give hope to people who think that there isn't a God. There is a God. I'm not about money. I'm about ministry. I would never, ever forget where God has brought me from. Had it not been for God, I would not be able to walk again, talk again, and do the things that I'm doing to represent Him. That's why I am the coupon ambassador for Christ. I minister with a coupon. I don't coupon just to brag and say, "Oh, look how many tithes I have. Look how many this." No, people are in need, and I minister with a coupon to people emotions.
Is this something that other people could do? Is this something that families in need could do? Times are getting really tough right now. Is it something that's hard? Did it take you a long time to learn it?
It's a gift. I never used a coupon
Mm.
before my stroke. I could not comprehend it.
Mhm.
Now it's a gift. I can read a coupon, um, tell you when a sale is getting ready to come out. It, it's something either you know or you don't. And anyone who couponed before my stroke, you're amazing because I could not catch it. It was hard. So it's my gift for me to be able to help people in need.
Well, I just love the fact that you flipped the script. That here you were, you could have focused on yourself. I mean, you had a lot going on, pretty devastating. You have an active life, and all of a sudden, just health crisis after health crisis after health crisis hit you like that. But you took this opportunity to turn things over for good and actually turned it into a ministry. I just appreciate your story. I appreciate the fact that you knew you've gone through something and you want to show other people that they can thrive even in a bad situation. A person listening to you may not be dealing with that same issue, but they could be encouraged to know that you can take your situation and turn it around. How can people learn more about your ministry? Reach out to you. I know you've written a book about your couponing and how that worked, but how can people like reach out to you and get more information?
They can email me at coupon, COUPON underscore ambassador number 4 Christ. Coupon underscore ambassador for Christ at Yahoo.
Very good. We so appreciate you coming on. We so appreciate your story. We just wish you Godspeed. It's an amazing story of thriving in the midst of some really terrible stuff. But you have made a difference in so many people, and you continue to do so. I know for a fact that you have partnered with area stores. Other people have lined up and seen what you're doing, and now they're helping to make that vision that you have even bigger. And so I just appreciate with that one, even with one eye, you're able to, and on your phone. I remember you telling me that you wrote your book on your phone because that's all you had. And with your limited vision, being able to do that, just imagine what you can do if you're listening in the audience, what you could do. What's the name of your book? Somebody's asking, what's the name of your book?
Mirror of Weapons.
So mirror, MIRROR of weapons.
I birthed it from Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I was my own weapon forming against me. I needed to forgive people. And until I did that, I couldn't move. So I wrote the book from what if you are your own weapon standing in the mirror. So I birthed it from me being my own weapon. I had to
Wow.
forgive people. So I will talk about God everywhere I go. If you want to interview me, expect to hear me talk about God, else I will not be there. It's about God.
Oh, wow. That's deep. That sometimes you're your own weapon. The enemy is in me. Huh? That's what it sounds like. Wow. But you can, forgiveness was your answer. Is that correct?
I had to first forgive myself because I didn't feel worthy. And once I started forgiving myself, it was like a 360. God, if you did it for me, you could do it for somebody else, but you have to feel that you're worthy. And that's what I didn't feel, worthy enough to be forgiven.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was powerful. We're just so excited to see where God is taking you. And we can see your heart. And we wish you Godspeed. We hope to hear from you again and to hear how things are going. But thanks so much for what you do, and just continue to allow the Lord to use you in what you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Wow. And as we segue from that powerful message to our inspirational message, it's flip the script. Flip the script. We can't stop the rain. You know, we had sunshine this weekend and then the rain came and it cooled off. Into this life, some rain is going to fall. You're going to get wet. Just know this. But when you do, how are you going to flip the script? Some people go out and just dance in the rain. They just go with the flow. There's nothing they can do about it. Other people take the rain and put out buckets and save water and water the plants. There's all kinds of ways to flip the script. When life is coming at you fast, and we've been dealing with a lot during this pandemic, people who've been off their jobs, people who are now working from home, but they flipped the script. They started businesses. People have written books during this time when it's been a tough time of economic downturns. People have figured out I can grow myself a garden, and then they found out that they started eating organic and eating locally sourced food, and their bodies started feeling better. When things go wrong in your life, you might need to wallow for a minute. You want to feel it for a minute, But if you want life to get better, you're going to have to flip the script. Think about how I can bless somebody else, how I can do things better for myself. How do I make the sun shine in my own life just by doing something different? This week, look for ways to flip the script. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Make some incredible moves with your life and keep things in motion. And we'll see you tomorrow.